Alright, the last of the videos on the moles will be how to change grams to moles and moles to grams, and back and forth from particles. So this piece of information right here at the top is really incredibly important, because when you change grams to moles, to particles, to mass and things, you need 3 conversion factors. There's 1, there's 2, there's 3. So this is kind of like changing inches to feet. You know that there are always 12 inches in 1 foot. Those are equivalences. They are exactly equal to each other. So we might start out with 13 inches, but it's not going to look like the same number when you convert those to feet. You still have the exact same amount of stuff, it just doesn't look like we're describing it in the same way. So we're converting, in this first one it says how many atoms is 5.2 moles of titanium. We're doing the conversion, so we still have and are always going to have this 5.2 moles of titanium. It's just that we're going to talk about it in terms of atoms now. So when you do this, and I'll send this little strip of paper over here to DAP with you guys. When you do this, there are always 4 steps. Write the given. Step 2, write times a fraction. Step 3, choose which 2 conversion factors to use. And step 4, multiply across the top and divide by what's on bottom. So I'm going to refer to these steps each time as I do this. So I'm going to probably bring it down here, right below here. So step 1, write the given. How many atoms is 5.2 moles of titanium? They gave us 5.2 moles of titanium, so let's write that down. The abbreviation for mole, all you get to do is drop the E on there, so it's not much of an abbreviation. Second step, write times a fraction. And then the third step is choose which 2 conversion factors to use. You're going to use 2 of these. Whatever I start out with here, I want to put on the bottom here so they cancel. So of these 3, the only one that's mole is this 1 mole. So I put 1 mole down on the bottom, and that way my moles will cancel out. What I put on top is what they're asking me to find. So they're asking me how many atoms. Of these 3, which one is atoms? Well, it's the particles, atoms. If you look over here on the box, it says particles can be atoms, ions, molecules, formula units. You know, that's what we can work with. So in this case, I have 6.02 times 10 to the 23rd, and our stuff is talking about atoms, so I can just write atoms in there. Multiply across the top, divide by what's on bottom. So when I pop that into my calculator, I've got 5.2 times 6.02 second EE23. It should look like, let me get the glare off that, it should look like this in your calculator. Don't use the caret button, don't type in times 10 to the whatever, you use the second EE button. So when I get the answer, I've got 3.130, that should be equal right there, 3.130 times 10 to the, and if I look way over here on the side, 10 to the, it says E24, 10 to the 24th. My moles canceled out, so what I have here are atoms. And that's my answer. Okay, number 2 is set up the exact same way, so you need to do that. I'm going to drop down now. You can pause this and do that. Number 3, what's the mass in grams of 0.038 moles of cobalt? So step 1, write the given. They gave us 0.38 moles of cobalt. Step 2, write times a fraction. Step 3, choose which 2 conversion factors to use. Alright, whatever they gave me to start off with, I have to put that on the bottom. So of these 3 up here, this one is the one that says mole. So for every 1 mole, and then what is the mass? Of these 3, which one are mass? Well, it's the molar mass, and I get the molar mass from the periodic table. So molar mass from the periodic table. So in this case, the molar mass of cobalt which I can't find a periodic table here. Okay, so the molar mass of cobalt is 58.933. 58.933 grams. and that's the mass of 1 mole of cobalt. My moles cancel, so when I pop this into my calculator, multiply across the top, divide by what's on bottom, I've got 0.38 times 58.933. Okay, and I don't have to divide by 1 because really that's not going to change anything. And my answer becomes 22.395. My moles canceled out. All I have left are grams, so it's grams. And that makes sense because mass is measured in grams. What's the mass? So what that means is if I have 0.38 moles of cobalt, that's going to be 22.395 grams of cobalt. We haven't changed how much cobalt we have. We're just talking about it in different terms. Number 4 is set up the exact same way. Let's drop down to number 5 as an example. Number 5, how many moles is 0.55 grams of magnesium? Step 1, write down what they gave us. They gave us 0.55 grams of magnesium. Step 2, times a fraction. Step 3, choose which 2 conversion factors to use. Alright, I have grams here, so grams have to be on the bottom. Of these 3, which one is grams? Well, it's the mass. The mass is always grams, and we get our mass from the periodic table. So I look on my periodic table, and magnesium has a mass of 24.31. And I'm looking on my periodic table on the wall, so yours might be slightly different. Notice the gram on top of a fraction and gram on bottom, they cancel out. And then, what are they asking me to find? How many moles? Of these 3, which one is moles? Well, it's the obvious one. It says 1 mole right there. So 1 mole. Multiply across the top, divide by what's on bottom. So I have 0.55, and I'm not going to waste my time multiplying by 1, divided by 24.31 grams. And I got the really small number, 0.023 moles. I haven't changed the fact that I have about half a gram of magnesium. I'm just talking about it in a different way. Like you can talk about yourself in how many inches tall are you, or you can talk about yourself in how many feet tall are you. Okay, so this is the basic premise on how to do these. For a grade, you'll be doing the page on back, worksheet number 2, chemistry, atoms, mass, and the mole. Use your examples that you have. Practice a little bit here, make sure you're getting it right, and then you use your examples to do the rest of these. Make sure that you read over your mole project instructions. It's due December 13th. If you want more information on that, if you need some clarification, just holler and I'll come over there.